First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Hakim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. And this lesson is going to be entitled, World War III can start at any moment. Okay? And we can feel that, this is looming. This is close. Okay? And the scriptures say once this happens, okay, basically it's going to lead to something. It's going to lead to the destruction of the place you know as America. Okay, which is also known in the scriptures as Babylon the Great. Okay, in the state you currently known as Israel. Okay, that state is supposed to be destroyed as well, according to biblical prophecy. We're not calling for it to be destroyed. We're not calling for anything to be destroyed. We're just telling you what the biblical prophecy says that was written thousands of years ago. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to see something. How to know when a world war, or a war, I should say, but a world war is official. Okay, let's see if there's anything on that. Declaration of war. It says declaration of war. Declaration of war is a formal act by which one state announces existing or impending war activity against another. The declaration is a performative speech act or the public signing of a document by an authorized party of national government in order to create a state of war between two or more states. So there's going to be a particular declaration that says we're going to war with such and such countries. Okay, so that declaration, okay, is going to be either written down and it's going to be also a speech that's made. All right, and in Russia recently, a shalom Akim, shalom to you Akim on the comment board. Okay, and you Akwath, you sincere Akwath as well. You had Putin who recently made a warning to Babylon the Great, and I'm going to get that as well. It says the legality of who is competent to declare war varies between nations and forms of government. In many nations, that power is given to the head of state or sovereign. In other cases, something short or of a full declaration of war, such as a letter of marque or a covert operation, may authorize warlike acts by privateers or mercenaries. The official international protocol for declaring war was defined in the Hague Convention 3 of 1907 on the opening of hostilities. So you can see here that in order for there to be war, in order for the war to be officially started, there has to be a declaration of war. Okay. Let's continue on a bit, though. It says, since 1945, it says developments in international law, such as the United Nations Charter, which prohibits both the threat and the use of force in international conflicts, which is complete BS, because they don't abide by that. Okay, let me read that again. It says the United Nations Charter, which prohibits both the threat and the use of force in international conflicts, really, have made declarations of war largely obsolete in international relations, though such declarations may have relevance within the domestic law of the belligerents or of neutral nations. The UN Security Council, under powers granted in Articles 24 and 25 and Chapter 7 of the Charter, may authorize collective action to maintain or enforce international peace and security. And really, you know who the UN works for. The UN works for the West. Okay, the UN is the West that created that. Okay, so that's obviously they have a bias. Okay, so the declaration of war, that's what would happen. You would have somebody declare war on another nation. Okay, so either Russia, Putin, or he'll have his secretary, what does it say, Secretary of State, I believe, the head of state, okay, or sovereign would declare that they're going to war. And same thing for America, Babylon the Great, and whatever other countries, okay, which we know that this thing is going to be started off by those the state of Israel, the Israeli state. That's going to start it off according to biblical prophecy, and we're going to show you that in Jeremiah 49th chapter. It's also in the 50th chapter, but this is Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. It says, verse 20. It says, "Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Right? Now, who is the least of the flock? The least of the flock is the Amalekites. Okay, they're the least in number, and they're the least in rank according to the Most High. Not on the earth. On the earth, they're on the highest. They're in the highest rank. But according to Heavenly Father, they're the lowest. In other words, he despises the Amalekites more than any other nation. So they're the least of the flock in those two ways. Okay, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Desolate means what? To be destroyed. Matter of fact, let's go into that. Habitations is what? A place where you live. So their land, that land that they're in, okay, which is not officially their land, but the land that they're in will be destroyed along with America. Okay, because they're going to drag them to war. Let's see here to make sure it's the right one. Okay, so Shamam is the word here. It says to be desolate, be appalled, stunned, stupefied, to be desolate, to be desolated, to be deflowered, to be deserted, to be appalled. Is everyone going to leave that land? No, but everyone is going to be destroyed out of that land that is not of the elect. See, the elect is going to be taken up into the chariots that are in that land, but the ones that are, the heathen, right, the Amalekites and the Israelites that are not of the elect, and the heathens that are there are going to be destroyed. It says to be appalled, to be awestruck, to be desolate, to be desolated, to be desolate, to be appalled, to be stunned, so on and so forth, devastated, ravished, so on and so forth. They're going to be destroyed and ravished by those nuclear missiles. Okay, and that's the same fate that that's prescribed for Babylon the Great. But it's showing you here that the least of the flock, which is going to be the Amalekites, is who's going to drag them into that war. Matter of fact, I like to read 49 and 50 to show you that Edom and Babylon is synonymous. Let me read this real quick. This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans." You see, now it's using Babylon and the Chaldeans instead of Edom and Teman. Okay? It says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." Okay? So someone is going to drag Babylon into war to what? To make their land, to have them be destroyed right along with them, and that is going to be that state of Israel. Let's go to Isaiah the 34th chapter. Let's go to the 34th chapter. This is Isaiah 34, in verse 1. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." This is getting ready to happen. He's about to deliver them up to the slaughter, because all them people that go to war for this world's war that's coming, man, they're all going to be destroyed. Okay? Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Because going up to this world war, you're basically choosing the nation you're fighting for over the Heavenly Father. Okay, because the armies that are being developed, that are here, that are developed, that are going to go to war, they're going to end up turning and fighting against Yahweh Shai, our Lord, when he comes back. That's according to biblical prophecy as well. So when you go join the army, you're choosing that side. Okay, therefore all of you are going to be destroyed in this coming world war. It says, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Now, all the host of heavens dealing with the elements. All the elements of this present kingdom is going to be dissolved. What's going to dissolve? The metal, the buildings, the trees. Okay, what's going to dissolve that? Because when there's a fire in a building, the whole building is not destroyed. The building is not completely taken down. It's just burnt. So what kind of fire is going to completely dissolve a building? Bricks and metal, iron, and things of that nature. It's going to be the nuclear missiles. It's going to turn all of that to dust. And all their host shall, and that includes the people that are on those lands, okay? And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. The host dealing with their armies. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Right? Now the sword is dealing with the nuclear missile. Okay, it's going to go into the outer atmosphere, the heavens, the outer space. That's how the nuclear missiles work. And then it's going to come back down. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my cursed judgment. That's a code word of saying it's going to come down upon America. Okay, because that's the chief house of the Idumeans, aka Basra. Okay, that's the hub of power is in America. Okay, so that's where that nuclear missile is going to come down onto. It's going to come down onto America. Babylon the Great. It said the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. You see that? So the Lord has a great slaughter prepared for that land of Idumea. Is there anything going on in the land of Idumea? No, there's nothing going on in the land of Idumea. This is a future prophecy. Okay? This is a future prophecy. This is dealing with America. This is a code word for America. The great sacrifice is going to be in America. Babylon the Great. Okay? It says, and the unicorns shall come down. What's it like it? And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. That just represents the amount of destruction and death, the amount of death rather that's going to hit America, because when those nuclear missiles hit, all the people that are in that land at that time, the hundreds of millions of people that are going to be there, or whoever's going to survive these coming tribulations, right? Which is going to be in them, sure more than 100 million. Okay, because right now the population is about 300 million, right? But we don't know how much death is on the horizon before this, right? But I'm sure it's going to be over 100 million. That's a lot of death. That's a lot of death. Okay, that's a lot of death. So there's going to be a lot of death. That's what this represents. What I'm reading here. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. See, the reason why all these things are going to be happening is for what was done unto us. The Lord is still angry at what you devils did unto us. See, you guys don't understand. You Edomites don't get it. That's why they get so mad when they hear about the plight and the sufferings of Jake, and they get over it, because in their heart they know that they're guilty for that, and they're going to have to pay for that. See? This is the nations will be judged, right? Joel 3:1, it says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning when he will set his hand forth a second time to deliver us through his son Yahweh Shai. The first time was when? The first time was in the land of Egypt, right? This is the second deliverance now, the second great deliverance, which is going to way outshadow the deliverance of Egypt. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel. Okay? So the reason why, and when he says plead, it means to judge. He's going to judge them. That word plead there is shapat. Okay? Meaning to judge them for his people. Okay? And for mine heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right? They chased us out of that land, and they sold us into slavery, separated us into all these different lands. And when you read down, it goes directly into that, right? The destruction of his people, right? So this is why the war is happening. So understand where World War III kicks off. The Lord is having that kick off for us, right? So that Babylon the Great could ultimately be destroyed, which is America, okay? Which is that is a representation. Once Babylon is destroyed, the Edomites are taken down officially, okay? And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own heads? Okay, upon your own head. That's dealing with the heathen nations who helped sell us to these Edomites. It's going to go into it. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. You see that? Grecians is another way of saying Greeks, but it's a code way of saying Edomites. Okay, because the Greeks were Edomites. That ye might remove them far from their border, which is what? The land of Israel. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. So we were sold. The Israelites were sold. And will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to the people far off, for the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. See, we're close to that time. Okay, like I said, at any minute, this can officially start. And as a matter of fact, I got to get that article where Putin was sending out that warning. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay, that's them small nations. They're already pumping up their chest now. Okay, because they have the backing of Russia and they have nuclear technology. Okay, it says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which is going to be there in what they call the Middle East, which is, the Elder Malcolm always says that it's really Western Asia. Okay, for there will I sit. Well, that's why the Lord is drying up the river Euphrates, because that's the region of battle. Okay, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, and that's gonna be a terrible war, man. World War III is gonna be terrible. Okay, because World War I was terrible. World War II was terrible. They were coming back. That's where the drug addict, the concept of a drug addict, really began. It began in after World War II. Really, the Vietnam conflict really, was really a big proponent of that as well. They were taking them poppy seeds, taking the heroin because they couldn't deal with what they saw. People getting them traps them Vietnamese was setting for them was horrific, man. Right? And that was just that was known as a conflict. That was known as a conflict. You understand what I'm saying? They saw some gruesome deaths, man. People blown up in front of them, their guts hitting them in the face. You understand what I'm saying to you? So them people they had some serious PTSD. So what do you think is going to happen in this war? The final war, the war to end all wars, man. What do you think the Lord has prepared for this war? Yeah. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wicked the wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahweh is near. And there's no place called the valley of decision. It's metaphoric for that region. Okay. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Okay. What I want to do is I want to get what was I looking to get? Matter of fact, I think I was looking for. Oh yeah, let's look up this, because that's prophecy to show you the region that's going to be that this battle is going to be fought in. You go to Revelations, if I could read both of these, could read Revelation 9 first. It says, and the sixth angel, this is Revelation 9 and 13, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the river, in the great river Euphrates. You see, in that region, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Now, the third part of men is dealing with these Edomites. Okay, but notice it has to do with that region. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them, right? This is dealing with the nuclear missiles. Okay, the nuclear missiles, which is going to destroy the third part of men. So the angels are there prepared to have it, to put it in their mind to go to war and eventually to shoot nuclear missiles on America. That's the 200,000 horsemen. It's speaking about the nuclear missiles destroying this place. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. This is not a particular beast that's going to come up and destroy these the wicked. No, this is a metaphor for the nuclear missiles. He didn't know. He wouldn't be able to describe an ICBM missile, so he described it like this. Okay. And even if he saw this, right, he could have saw this exact vision, right? But this represents the nuclear missiles. The power is where? The power is in the head. That's why it's known as the head of the lion. The heads were like lions, because that's where the power of the nuclear missile is. It's in the head. Okay, that's where the nuclear warheads come from. Okay, the back just propels it. Okay, and out of their mouths issued fire and brimstone. Fire and smoke and brimstone. Yeah, when the nuclear missiles hit. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. Yeah, it's the nuclear warheads. So yeah, those that's all going to start off in the Middle East, because what? Or the Western Asia rather, because what? Because that's where the battle is going to mainly be hot. That's where the battle is going to be hot. Okay, this is Revelation 16 and 12. It says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. You see that? So the angel was an angel that was appointed to dry up the river Euphrates, and you see the river Euphrates is dried up. We show it all the time. Okay, that how the river Euphrates looks now compared to how it looked before. Matter of fact, let's pull it up. Let's go ahead and pull it up, man. River Euphrates. Drying up. Let's look up these images. Okay, we always look it up. Look at this one. See, it says it has a point. It's pointing there saying decreasing water levels. Okay, and this is in 2021, and it's a lot less now. And the reason why the water levels are decreasing, okay, is because we're at that time where war is getting ready to be issued, man. All right, and I believe there's a particular. I believe they built a river, not a river, a bridge over the River Euphrates not too long ago. But yeah. So you see it. You see it getting. You see the images here of how dry the River Euphrates looks. This is one that we use often, showing you the big difference here and there. Okay, of how it was before, how the water was more plenteous, and then now it's very, very dry. Okay, yeah, so that's all biblical prophecy, and I don't see anything from 2024. Let me see if I can see something from 2024 to see how it looks now. No, that's the same image as before. I don't really see anything from 2024, but Lord willing, there'll be some image that pops up of that eventually. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So anyways, you see the point. You see the point. The River Euphrates is drying up. Okay. So that's all biblical prophecy to prepare for this world's war. Right, and things are actually heating up amongst these nations. Oh, that's the one thing I want to get was the warning from Putin, man. Putin nuclear warning is direct and explicit. Woo! Hey, that's what we're talking about, man. That's what's coming. You see that? You see that? That's what's coming. Let's read this, man. The People's Dispatch. It says, Putin's nuclear warning is direct and explicit. The thrust of Putin's State of the Union address lies in his refusal to accept a fate for Russia in existential terms arranged by the West. The specter of Armageddon, which is a biblical term, has been raised often enough during the 2-year-old war in Ukraine that the reference to it in Russia, President Vladimir Putin's State of the Union address on Thursday had a familiar ring about it. Therein lies the risk of misjudgment on the part of the Western audience that Putin was only crying wolf. 3 things must be noted at the outset. First, Putin has been explicit and direct. He is giving advance notice that he is obliged to respond with nuclear capability if the Russian statehood is threatened, eschewing innuendos or dark hints. Putin actually made a somber declaration of epochal significance. Second, Putin was addressing the Federal Assembly in front of the creme de la creme of the Russian elite and took the entire nation into confidence that the country may be pushed into a nuclear war for its self-preservation. Third, a specific context is sailing into, and we know what's going to happen because it's biblical prophecy, man. The biblical prophecies are undefeated. It says, third, a specific context is sailing into view. Third, a specific context is sailing into view, precipitated by foolhardy, impetuous Western statesmen who are desperate to stave off an impending defeat in the war, which they began in the first instance with the state intention to destroy Russia's economy, create social and political instability, because that's how they work. That's how the West works. That would lead to a regime change in the Kremlin, right? Now, because that whole Ukraine thing, that's really a proxy. Okay, it's they're being backed by, when you start giving someone that much hundreds of billions of dollars to help them to fight a war, you're in the war. Okay, you're in the war. All right. It says, in reality, the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's prognosis on Thursday at the congressional hearing in Washington that NATO will be in a fight with Russia if Ukraine was defeated is the manifestation of a predicament because that's their war. That's part of their war. That's why that's why he's saying that. If Ukraine was defeated, but it's not a direct war. In other words, it's not an official war. It's a proxy war. If Ukraine was defeated, is the manifestation of a predicament that the Biden administration faces after having led Europe to the brink of abysmal defeat in Ukraine. So America is being blamed for this defeat in Ukraine, endangering grave uncertainties, right? Engendering grave uncertainties regarding its economic recovery and deindustrialization due to the blowback of sanctions against Russia, right? So the things that America's doing is really messing up Europe financially, man. Okay, plainly put, what Austin meant was that if Ukraine loses, NATO will have to go against Russia, as otherwise the future credibility of the Western alliance system will be in jeopardy. It's a call to Europe to rally for a continental war. You see that? So it's saying basically if they don't fight after Ukraine loses, because how the hell are they gonna win, right? After Ukraine loses, what they're saying is if they don't fight, right, that it's gonna mess up the credibility of the Western alliances because if you're saying that, listen, you join us and we're going to protect you, and then someone that you're supposed to be protecting gets attacked, and then you just leave them to be destroyed, then why would I trust you? Why would I want to deal with you? That's common sense. And the West credibility has been devalued a while ago. Anyway, but this would be a major blow. So, hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. Okay. So Putin is saying, listen, man. He's saying basically, man, what I see on the horizon most likely is war. Okay, so that we can preserve Mother Russia. That's what he's saying, bro. Okay, so that goes into Ezekiel the 38th chapter, man. They're going to, hey, man, the Lord is putting hooks in their jaws to bring them back to that old state, So, hey, man, that's all biblical prophecy, man. And we hope to see that soon. With that, I'll say shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash. Shalom.